Well, good day, viewers. Day 2 of this 2017 GMC Sierra 2500 HD with the 6.6 Dirty Max. Got a new injector connector from the dealer. Wasn't cheap. We're going to try and install it. So I managed to get the connector from the dealer. 19368140 is the part number. The number that I gave them didn't work for some reason. That came right out of the GM service information. This connector must be gold plated because it's $198, $199 retail, which is absolutely ridiculous for a connector. But what I'm going to do is put the connector onto the injector and connect an ohmmeter up to the two wires, and then make sure that the connection in the injector is not the problem. I certainly hope it isn't. Well, there's the injector resistance. Now mind you, it's lower now because it's cold. I'll compare it to the other ones, but it's 0.57, and if I wiggle the connection going into the injector, it makes no difference. Nice that they gave us lots of wire. So I'm going to cut this terminal off, and I got to pay attention to the polarity on it. Now it has a 90-degree elbow on here, but I don't think that's necessary. I'm going to cut the tape with a seam ripper. So I didn't use the shrinkable butt splices they supplied with the connector. I used solderless or soldered sleeves and heat shrink, and then I taped the harness up and I tie wrapped it so that it doesn't vibrate, or it doesn't vibrate as much. And we're gonna go back to the connector at the ECM and measure the resistance now. Connected at terminal 2 and 6 at the ECM connector, and I'm graphing resistance at 0.62 ohms. I'm going to go wiggle that connection. Make sure that there's no other spot in the wiring harness where it's compromised. Nice thing about this graph is I can come back and look and see if it changed. And it did not change. Let me reset the min-max. 0.62, 0.67, and it's on 40 ohms, so it's graphing down here at the very bottom. Wiggle it one more time, manipulate the wiring harness, and hopefully it did not change. Did not change. Now let's check another injector just curiously to see how much the resistance is on another injector. 0.62. And let's check this injector. 0.62. And this injector. 0.62. And this injector. If I could get the terminals in here. Oh, come on. 0.62. Okay, so we're going to tape up this harness and put the ECM back in. Now I've got to figure out how I'm going to retain this broken connector on J2. So here's my solution for the broken latch. I drilled a hole in this fin and then one on the opposite side. Put a couple tie wraps around the connector to hold it into the body of the computer, because the 4 lock studs like this here are broken off and the latch is broken. It was broken before I touched it. So I got the harness taped back up. I got to secure it with tie wraps once I get the computer reinstalled. Put a little film of dielectric grease around the outside circumference or inside circumference of this, so it encourages a seal, and blow the sand out of those connectors. So there, it's all back together. Harness secured by the power steering lines, ECM installed, clips, transmission connector plugged in. I replaced this stupid push pin with a tie wrap. Battery installed, battery cables connected. We're ready to start it up and see if everything is corrected now. Okay, so I'm going to go in and clear all the fault codes out of all the computers. Got the key on, engine not running. have a look at engine control data, specifically injector milliseconds, see if that number 7 injector is being driven. Okay, engine, data display, fuel injector data. And if you've seen the first video, number 7 injector wasn't being driven. So number 7 injector pulse width in milliseconds. There's number 7. And here's number 1. Number 1's on top of number 7. You'll fire it up. Well, that's positive. Number 3, number 5, 2, 4, 6, 8. Well, it's working now. Get out of here and look at misfire counters. Should be all zeros. Beautiful. Well, we'll take this thing for a road test. I still got to put the right inner fender skirt in there, and the wheel well trim back on, and the mud flap back on the right side. But it appears that this thing is fixed. Thanks for watching.